Campaign 2020 is sponsored by Wisconsin Hospital Association, Quick Trip, Wisconsin Counties Association, Wisconsin Realtors Association, and Wisconsin Operating Engineers Local 139.
William Henry Davis III of Madison is a Democratic candidate in the 26th Senate District. The primary is August 11th. Mr. Davis, thank you for talking to WisconsinEye.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you give us a summary of what you consider to be your top first and second campaign issues, sir?
I want to fight as state senator. I want to fight for our poor, and I'm going to fight for our poor, our homeless, our disabled, our veterans, seniors, and I want to fight for our students on grades K to 12 level and community college UW level. I want to help our citizens that are from common mainstream society and pass legislation that will benefit our low wage, our middle class citizens that live and work in Wisconsin.
Okay. Your website talks about, and I'm using the terms on the website, the corruption of police officers. So one of my questions is, do we need statewide standards for how police treat those in custody? Do we need to ban chokeholds? Do we need to ban no-knock warrants? Do we need to keep a database of officers who most often use violence?
Well, first of all, let me be clear. Yes, we do need to not defund our police, unlike how other politicians that are running for the same seat as me, candidates that are saying that they want to defund the police. No, we don't need to defund our military, our police and military. I'm thinking about the military and police. We need to de-weaponize our police in the state of Wisconsin and put regulations out there for our police so that they could reduce their abuse of power, of authority that they use. And yes, we do need to ban chokeholds. I think that's very disrespectful and disgraceful. We need to have limited usage, distribution of our police officers that are using small arms, weapons, and live ammunition that are harming the citizens for no reason. And just, it's crazy. We have to put a chokehold on the police force. We do. But as far as defunding them, no, I would not defund them as state senator. I believe that there are bad police officers and bad law enforcement, not just police. There's the sheriffs in the state capitol. There's the state patrol. So, we have to do a lot of regulations. There's good police officers out there, and there's good law enforcement agents and officers out there that deserve their pay and their benefits. I just want to have, as state senator, multicultural enhanced training put in my legislation for the regulation of the police officers and the law enforcement agencies. And I want to also do a lot of diversity reporting of their handling of situations in their reports. I want that to be included in their future reports when they are handling caseloads as police officers.
Right. Okay. Question on a different subject. COVID-19 threatens to cut state tax collections next year by as much as $2 billion. If that shortfall, if we didn't collect $2 billion in taxes that we expected, would you cut state programs, or would you raise taxes or fees to make up that $2 billion, sir?
Repeat that one more time. I almost understood you, but I want to get you right.
So, I understand.
Say that one more time, please.
The slowdown in the economy caused by COVID-19, the Governor Evers has said may mean we collect $2 billion less in taxes in the next year. If we didn't collect the $2 billion, we'd have a problem, and legislators like you, if you're elected, would either have to cut our current programs or raise taxes or fees? Which way would you go?
I think raising taxes would be the best way to go for corporations. I would raise it with corporations if I could.
Corporations,
Yes,
and not
definitely. A lot of the big corporations will be getting taxed so that we can make our quota for our state. Definitely, we have to regulate these corporations as well, because they are, a lot of times they're getting away with loopholes and stuff. So we have to tax the corporations. That would be my strategy.
Okay, thank you. Do you support both legalizing medical and recreational marijuana, Mr. Davis?
Absolutely, and I've used it myself, and it helps me with my disability for my tremors. I have essential tremors, and I've been, at first I didn't even like marijuana when I was younger. I couldn't stand it. I was actually, I couldn't stand the smell. But you know what? It has helped me in so many ways. It's very beneficial. Recreational wise, I support it. I don't see anything wrong with it. My tackle as state senator would be to tackle heroin addiction and the heroin drug dealers, because of it's affecting the citizens here in Wisconsin. The heroin crisis, cocaine, that would be another drug that I would tackle. Yeah, anything that's not marijuana, no, I wouldn't support. But I do support marijuana. I would legalize it, and I would encourage it for those who would like to use it as an alternative medication for those who are suffering with mental and physical illnesses and disabilities, because it really does help. It can help you mentally, physically. It helps with a lot of medical problems, stomach issues. You hear a lot of great things about it, and it helps with cancer. It helps, take away the pain. So yeah, and you know what? It also reduces crime. So yeah, it would reduce crime if we legalized marijuana. It would reduce it tremendously. And as a state senator, I think that we need a reduction in our crime here, especially in Milwaukee, Madison. You hear a lot of Racine and Kenosha here and there, but mainly Madison, Wisconsin, and Milwaukee are the two main cities that have this crime issue with the citizens that are committing felonies and misdemeanors and stuff. But
some Democratic legislators have sponsored bills to reduce our prison population. Do you support that? And who's in prison now that could be safely let out, Mr. Davis?
Good question. I absolutely support reducing the population for our prisons. I think that we need to have felonies that are redeemable, meaning redemption wise, that are how do I say this? Felonies that are remorseful, that could be changed, and people can redeem themselves. I believe citizens have the power to do that for certain crimes. We need to imprison the sex offenders, and we need to imprison the murderers. I support that. If you've committed a crime of robbery and assault, I believe that you could have redemption for yourself, and you could change your ways. But yeah, they do deserve to do their sentences if they have been committed of a crime. Yeah. But as far as giving them redemption, I believe that would be something as a state senator that I could help legislate as a state senator, as far as passing regulations for our prison population and how to reduce the sentencing requirements and the nature of the crime that's being committed.
Okay. New subject. To control property taxes, schools and other local governments have caps on what they can levy in property taxes. If you were a state senator, have you thought about whether you would vote to get rid of those caps or those limits or keep them in place? Is that something you've thought about?
For state property tax, correct?
Well, property taxes are collected locally, Mr. Davis. Should local governments continue to have limits on what they can levy in property taxes? Is that something you've formed a position on?
I think that's smart. If I think that they could limit how much that it would help our citizens that are homeowners and stuff like that.
Okay.
Business owners that have commercial zoning usage of certain, buildings and areas. Yes, I do support that. But however, on the state level, as a state senator, I would pass, like I said, a property tax legislation proposal. I would create a legislative proposal where property taxes for businesses would be capped at 25% for an exemption I would have, which would reduce them having to pay so much.
Okay.
It would be a reward benefit for the citizens of Wisconsin to give them a 25% tax exemption credit for their state businesses per calendar year. Yes. And
okay.
It would attract people actually to our state doing that.
Okay. Do you think?
All business. Go ahead.
Well, my question, there's a big debate over how to pay for highways in Wisconsin, and the fuel tax of 30.9 cents per gallon hasn't been raised in 10 years. Would you consider voting to raise the fuel tax to stabilize the way we pay for highways?
There's many ways that you can pay for highways. There's multiple ways. Actually, I have not really seen any option that has not been available for that. I would actually use my legislation to propose marijuana. Actually, let's go back to marijuana. Marijuana, if we legalize that, it's going to give our state a budget surplus, and we would be able to afford our investments on roads, transportation, and our water utility companies would have more funding from us that we could do if we were politically on a politician level, if we would give them funding to regulate them. That's why we would fund them more under my legislation. I think that we could provide that with the solution and source of legalizing marijuana, and it would help so much. We can invest in our schools with that. Believe it or not, for our students, that can go to school programs, all the revenue that we can collect. We can make billions. To your question, would I raise the percentage?
Raise the gas tax.
Would I raise the gas tax?
Yeah.
No, I would not.
Okay. Okay.
No.
The COVID-19 pandemic has hurt our economy and healthcare providers that state government rely on. Recessions cause less revenue for the state and more demand for safety net programs like Medicaid. If you're a senator voting on the next state budget, should hospitals be made more of a priority in that budget? Have you thought about that?
Hospitals, they should always be a priority. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's the foundation for health. We got to have our hospitals taken care of. Yes.
Okay. Businesses that follow the COVID-19 practices and protocols and recommendations of maybe the CDC, should they be immune from getting sued for frivolous lawsuits? Have you considered that? If you run a business and if you run a business and follow all the CDC protocols to keep your employees and customers safe, should you not be sued if someone believes they got COVID while entering your business?
And I have not thought about that, but I'm going to answer this for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. businesses should be sued to a certain extent. If you say if they caught it from working there, is what you're saying? Is
working
that what
or you're a customer and you believe you may have contacted it working there or patronizing it.
They have the right to sue. If
Okay.
that's what they feel, if they feel that they contracted it at a business, they have the legal right to sue. Now, whether they're going to win that lawsuit, we don't know. Nobody knows because tides can change. It can fluctuate. It can go up and down. So, but what I supported as a senator, it's the fundamental right of the citizens to have that privilege. I would respect it. I wouldn't go against it.
Okay.
But I certainly would respect it, definitely, if that was their choice. And if they didn't, then they don't.
Okay. My next question deals with when local governments authorize big public works projects. A study found that in 2015, out-of-state contractors were awarded $72 million in these public works projects, and that $72 million doubled to $146 million in 2018. So my question is, should bidding standards and requirements give preference to Wisconsin companies when local governments authorize these major public works projects?
Should they award that to major companies? No.
No. Should Wisconsin companies get a preference and get a priority?
Wisconsin businesses, is that what you're saying? The Wisconsin companies? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Wisconsin companies, of course.
Okay.
Yes. We're first. Wisconsin first.
Okay. Sounds good. On your website, you'd like to raise the minimum wage to $20. Why?
I want to, because what we're making is not enough for our citizens. First off, I'm going to pass legislation as a state senator to increase the minimum wage $15 for small business owners. They're going to have to pay the citizens $15 an hour, the small business owners. Okay. Corporations are going to, under my legislation, are going to pay $20 an hour for their employees. That's just my rule. I think it's fair. I think that, if I could, I would have it higher. But yeah. I'm doing what I know is more realistic and more affordable for, companies. I'm balancing everything out, and I'm doing it appropriately. At this moment, I feel $20 would help our men, women, and children and their households. They have, utilities. They have needs. They have to get all kind of food here for their families to feed each other, and transportation and gasoline costs for them to get around. For those who use gas cars, I support the minimum wage because it really helps families. It helps individuals and families. Okay. Helps them live a comfortable life where they could, be sustained and have, they'll have better benefits for themselves by having the minimum wage increase for them. So as state senator, I am going to pass legislation that's going to give them that, and I'm very proud of it.
Okay. My last question, Mr. Davis, talk about differences between you and your other opponents in the August 11th primary. Why are you the most qualified?
Because it's my heart. And I went to school. Even though I didn't get a chance to finish my degree program, I'm very smart. I'm very educated. I've been in politics since 7th grade. I realized that we have a need for a Democrat that's going to fight for the citizens and prioritize the citizens first. And I know that I'm more qualified because my heart is from the bottom, and I'm opposing the top of the elite that are doing a lot of harm to our citizens, that are not trying to help mainstream society and pass legislation that's going to help our poor. So I know as a politician that I am more qualified to help our disabled, our homeless, our low wage, no income. I want to help our animals, families with animals. I want to pass Petcade. I want to help our schools. I want to pass the free trip for all bill, which is going to help for grades K to 12. I want to help pass policies for our UW and our community colleges. I want free community college for our students here. I want farm aid for our farmers. I want to help our farmers that have been going through their mental crisis and their economic crisis, our small farmers here in Wisconsin. I want to help them. I want to help fight for Badger Care Plus expansion. I want to fight for Medicaid and give Medicaid to our homeless that are struggling and those that can't afford proper health care. Okay. I want to help our seniors and pass legislation that will help them that can't afford nursing home benefits, that don't qualify for it, but they really do qualify for it. I want to make Wisconsin a better reformed state where we could make a structure where our citizens live comfortably, and will not only that, but will attract new citizens from out of state and out of country to bring them to Wisconsin. And I want to pass policies and laws and pass bills and create bills from our disabled community.
Okay, understand. Well, thank you. William Henry Davis III of Madison is a Democratic candidate for the 26th state Senate seat. The primary is August 11th. Mr. Davis, thanks for talking to WisconsinEye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Campaign 2020 is sponsored by Wisconsin Hospital Association, Quick Trip, Wisconsin Counties Association, Wisconsin Realtors Association, and Wisconsin Operating Engineers Local 139.